Welcome back, everyone. I'm the Bella Gamer, and we're back with another bite size where we talk about one of the classes in Pathfinder 2e in under 10 minutes. And today we're going to be talking about Pathfinder's newest class, the Kineticist. So, what is a Kineticist? The Kineticist is the most powerful elemental class in the game. When it comes to utilizing the elements, the Kineticist is the best, bar none. There is just no way any other class can match the sheer magnitude of not even elemental power, but elemental manipulation as well, as the Kineticist is, well, a class based on using the elements, so, it's not a surprise. They are somewhere between caster and martial, not being a caster because they don't use spells or spell actions, but having a playstyle more similar to casters, allowing them to have some utility and some ability to attack multiple foes while also having decent single target damage and effects as well. The Kineticist is equivalently the blaster caster a lot of people have been looking for, though I should mention they're not as good at single target damage as some of the other martials, but unlike casters, they do have some pretty solid single target damage. The Kineticist is a dynamic and flexible class able to take on a wide variety of different roles in the game, whether that's being a tank, whether that's being a healer, damage dealer, or utility member of the party. They're good at pretty much everything except using skills, as unlike the rogue or the investigator, they don't get as many skill proficiencies as they do, but they get about the same as any other class. So regardless, the Kineticist is very dynamic if you're looking for a class that has the capability to be played in any way that you choose. So now that we talked about what is a Kineticist, let's talk about what makes the Kineticist. Well, it is the only class in Pathfinder 2nd edition that uses Con as their key ability modifier. And because of the class's effect of using its class proficiency for all of its abilities, this is actually not a problem. Con does not use any skill proficiencies and is typically only good for HP and Fortitude DCs, but thanks to the Kineticists being focused purely on their class DC, they actually can use Con to do things like damage and a wide variety of other effects. This is very unique, and there's a lot of people out there who wanted it just for the sake of having a con-based class, so now you all have a con-based class, and it's pretty good, I might add. Now, I mentioned that their class DC scales on their con, but another additional feature of their class DC is they are currently the only class in Pathfinder 2nd edition that actually gets up to legendary proficiency in their class DC, which means their blasts, which is something I'll mention here in a moment, their single target attack, and their impulses, which is another thing I'll mention, which is like their spells, both get to legendary proficiency, which is absolutely huge, making them the only class that has spell-like effects and martial-like effects that get to a legendary proficiency. Granted, it's not until level 19, and how they scale is they're a little bit behind martials as far as proficiency is concerned, and they scale about the same as casters. So it's still really, really good, though it's not as broken as it sounds at first. Now, the blast. Elemental blast is one of their core features. They can blast using an element that they have picked either at the start of the game or that they have expanded to later, something I'll mention in a little bit. But the elemental blasts allow them to strike enemies at either 30 feet or 60 feet, depending on the type of elemental blast you do. The longer range doing D6s and the closer range doing D8s, but these blasts can also be done in melee range. And the biggest benefit of the elemental blast is when you strike an enemy at melee range, you add your strength modifier to the strike, which is really cool. And you can upgrade the blast to a 2-action blast, which adds your con modifier to the blast as well. This gives them a really solid single target damage, and it scales as you level up automatically. So you don't even need to buy specific runes or weapons for the use of your class, which is very powerful, though it doesn't have an item bonus unless you take the Gate Attenuator, which is an important item, and it gets you up to a maximum of item bonus +2 and a +1 to your con modifier, making them relatively equal to some other classes. Along with their elemental blasts, they have impulses. Impulses are more or less the Kineticist's abilities. They're spells, as it were, and there's two types. There's an impulse and an impulse stance. The impulse stance allows them typically to alter their elemental aura, which is just a natural effect of the class, or to gain specific abilities like extra sturdiness, temp HP, all the like. And their impulses can range from infinite flights to big blasts of areas. Now, each of these impulses are based on a single elemental category, though there is something known as hybrid impulses that mixes two elements. And speaking of elements, let's talk about how the Kineticist interacts with the elemental planes. And that is going to be using gates. Now, when you first start, you get either a single gate or a dual gate. The single gate is a little bit more powerful than your standard gate, and it has a bonus called an impulse junction that allows it to do extra effects. Or you could get a dual gate and gain access to multiple elemental gates, which can allow you to get multiple types of elemental impulses. This makes you a little bit more dynamic. Not only that, but the Kineticist gets a sheer number, I think 6 extra feats dedicated to their impulses specifically. This makes them incredibly powerful and diverse. Now, there are currently 6 elemental planes: fire, earth, water, air, metal, and wood. And each of these have unique benefits, unique flaws, and bonuses. They're all very, very powerful. But even if you start off with a single gate, you can actually get more elemental gates with one of their benefits called gate thresholds. Every so many levels, you'll get access to a gate threshold, which allows you to expand the portal, which adds in a gate junction onto your effects, which more or less what gate junctions do is they allow you to do more powerful things. Get critical effects on your blasts, for instance, get skill proficiencies, all kinds of things. It makes a singular element more powerful. Or you could fork the path. Forking the path allows you to get access to extra elemental domains, which can open your repertoire up to extra elemental effects, and even give you access to hybrid impulses. Though the feat you get when you when you open a threshold cannot be a hybrid impulse, but you can get a impulse from either the new element or the element that you are expanding the gate for. But this actually comes to one of my first tips when it comes to playing the Kineticist. Balance yourself between expanding the portal or forking the path, as it's very easy to hyper-focus on a singular element, making yourself incredibly powerful in that element, and most of the elements do have some diversity in what abilities they have access to, but obviously some elements are more focused on things than others. So that being the case, if you focus purely on expanding one portal, you're going to find that your character is becoming less and less capable as this game goes on, as you're only able to really do one set of things really well and a lot of other things not so well. Simultaneously, forking the path should only be done to expand the kit as much as you need. For instance, if you like the firepower from the plane of fire, then go with the fire gate, and then later go into the air gate if you want more utility or extra movement-like abilities. If you fork the path too much, you'll have a lot of abilities in a lot of different areas, but none of them will be very powerful, and you won't have any of the gate junctions that make your effects even more powerful. So a good balance in focusing a playstyle on one particular set of abilities and impulses is going to go a much further distance than making yourself too diverse and not having any punching power with anything that you're capable of using. Another tip is that more HP does not necessarily mean tankier. The Kineticist at base uses light armor and gets master proficiency only at level 19. This makes them equivalently as squishy as most casters, especially since Dex is not considered for the class's core features. So you need to invest in Dex outside of the core class features to get any kind of AC, which means that you're more likely to be crit and take a lot of damage. Even if you have more ace or more HP than your standard caster or even some of the marshals, that doesn't make you necessarily tankier. And while there are ways around this, utilizing some of the specific impulses from some of the specific gates, that obviously isn't an answer for every build, as you might not want to take those gates in particular. And taking a whole gate just to pick up one impulse is really not a good idea. So make sure you understand that your character, while powerful, is still pretty squishy overall on the battlefield. But that's going to be it for me. Hopefully I got this video out in under 10 minutes. You all will let me know, I'm sure. Thank you all so much for watching. Please subscribe and like the video if you enjoy this type of content. That's going to be it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. Good luck with your games. Leave the bad luck to me. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.